17 seconds.
16.
15 seconds.
14.
13 seconds.
12. 11.
10 seconds. 9.
8.
7.
6.
6 what?
Copy.
5 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Hi folks and welcome back to the Scotch Checker. Today joining us is actor Jeremy Roberts, who is probably best known among Star Trek fans for playing the USS Excelsior science officer Dimitri Valtane in both the film Star Trek VI The Undiscovered Country and the Voyager episode Flashback. However, he also played the Jem'Hadar role of Meso'Clan in the Deep Space Nine episode Hippocratic Oath. Welcome aboard, Jeremy, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Very happy you're with us.
Thanks also to Bob for joining as co-host today.
Admiral Bob.
Usually, in Starfleet International, usually start with an initial question, what your earliest memories of Star Trek are.
Earliest, that's 56 years ago. 56 years ago, I was an avid science fiction fan in the books, because TV didn't really have a lot. Heinlein and all those books and Lord of the Rings I worshipped and such like that. And Star Trek came on and I was going to be 12. The next month I had dreams of an astronaut in my future, like a jet fighter pilot. Anyway. So I watched the show. That was the first time I saw it. It was a week even to me. I thought the sets, I'm problematic. I'll complain even when I was 12. I thought they could be a lot better, but I was sucked in completely, and I've been a fan since, mainly of the original. And then when I went into the Marine Corps, they promised me that I could be a fighter pilot, because I signed up. I said, okay, I'm going to be and they said, yes, of course. And I got to boot camp, and they said, you're too tall. You're 3 inches too tall. The cockpit only has for 6 foot. And I said, okay. Well, thanks. Got to go. They went, no. So they made me something else, a sniper, and Vietnam happened, and then that ended, and now I didn't know what to do. I started to act. I thought, when this happened, boom, acting. 20 years later, whatever it was, later, I find myself being cast as a science officer on the USS Excelsior, and I end up being a lieutenant commander piloting a spaceship. So I got to do it anyway, without all the exercise and all the work. I got to go in space, sort of. And in a sense, I was in space, because, my gosh, isn't it kind of like another world? Well, to you too, and me, because I was sitting there in it. I mean, I see the background. It's something to be walking in the background on these sets. But when it happened, anytime, I guess, you just go right back to 12 years old. Right.
And it must have been a total surprise for you, both as an actor and as a Star Trek fan, to learn that you would be reprising that role again, because probably at the end of Star Trek Undiscovered Country, you figured, oh, this was wonderful experience. This is great. A dream of a lifetime. And this is, it's now over. And then years later, you're brought back as part of the team. And, that maybe you could describe that kind of feeling of what it was like when your agent apparently came to you and say, hey, guess what, Jeremy?
Well, you're lucky enough to get work. I mean, the chances of getting work as an actor are slim to none. There's 90% don't ever work, and 5 do, and 5 are waiters that keep trying. And it's unfortunate. That's just the facts. So the fact that you just get any job, you're so thrilled. But to get that first Star Trek and go, and then be buying the lexicon, or that there's a Bible that's, I have it over here. I forget who wrote it, but he knows it's everything. It's like the glossary, and you're looking through it. Yeah, there I am. I'm in this thing forever, and there's no chance. And who cares? I mean, I want to get in more, but you just can't make that happen. You can't just call, hey, Gene, How about yeah. So when they did get the agent call, they say, "You sitting down? Guess what? The it's not Spielberg, but they called and they wrote you a part bringing back the character you did in Star Trek Six." And I was like, "Oh man, I hope you're not messing with me because this is just too much." So then, of course, my mind, once I got to the set, you think, well, did the first, the second, I guess what's obvious is a series with Sulu and I, and that didn't happen. But maybe I should have written it when I was young and pretty.
Well, George certainly wanted it.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was. Yeah, and he should. I saw accidentally a Twilight Zone. He played. He was in. Well, he was young. What's his name? Somebody told me the name. Anyway, he had two guys. Him and another very famous character actor. They hashed it out over the World War II. Japanese, and the other guy was. Anyway, he was brilliant. I'm like, he's really good. Not that he isn't, but he's never given the chance. And you just go, well, oh my, that's all he is. No, he's way more than that, Yeah, he was good. So, but still, and I'm still finding all these things. I'm rewatching the show sometimes, or even what was it? Star Trek 6. I keep seeing people that I know. I'm like, oh, Leon played that. Oh, there's Kirkwitz, and there's, oh, damn. And but then you think about when people say, well, you've done so many, and I go, yeah, but not as many as I could give you. Richard Reilly, if you know who he is, look him up, IMDb. He's got like 360 guest stars. That's John Wayne, Barry Fitzgerald. That's Ward Bond. These names from the 50s that have done exponentially huge amounts. I don't think what I did was so, but then I have to think about it like as a Star Trek fan, as I am, and go, I'd be pretty thrilled too if I saw me in Star Trek, and I was.
So
no matter what I say,
even though you got like real enjoyment from playing Valtane, like there was a comment, like surely like it was still technically like work at the same time.
I wondered. Sorry, go ahead.
I wondered how you found working with the director Nicholas Meyer.
It's almost like you don't have anything to say to each other because you're just trying to do exactly what he wants. And I've never liked watching myself, so I don't watch the show, and it took a long time to see anything I'm in. After I've seen one or two, I just oh man, I'm not objective because you can't keep getting work if you continually suck like you think you suck. I'm not a good. I think I have to go back to school, or why aren't I more believable? I could be so much more believable. And I thought, it's going to destroy me. I can't do that. And a lot of actors have this. They just can't look at themselves. Others have no problem. They can sit there and watch a daily and, see, how can I get better? And they do. I just, anyway. So with the director, I was just glad to be there and did what he said. Never seemed to come to me. Then you're all right. If he's not coming over and going, Jeremy, let's see. No. That's bad. What you doing? What were you doing there? No. But it hasn't stopped me in the past from changing like a Neil Simon line. I changed that in Marrying Man, and I ended up getting that changed, and in Christmas Vacation. So I know I have the guts to say something or go, hey, I got this idea. What do you think about this? And it gets in. But then it was one of these things that's Star Trek. I mean, I don't think even Gene Roddenberry got along with Nicholas much. There was just something wrong then. We didn't know. I wasn't privy to any of the problem until later you read. You go, oh, that's what that was. Or what was that stoppage? Oh, I remember our meeting. and Kurt, Shatner, and Nimoy. That was just the best day ever.
That must be mind blowing.
Yeah.
Oh, and
But I
everybody
was
there
thinking
too
as well-
were the same thing. They were all fans. They just all couldn't. They just had seen him before dailies, but he was there for us in his outfit, his costume, sitting in a chair for pictures, and we were all just. It's like, it's not John Wayne. It's not the coming of Spencer Tracy or Jesus. It's just two actors, but not to that 12-year-old. And the crew, and everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, that it's a chilling, and it was. Even when I bring it up, it gives me a chill.
And through your career, you have come across or worked with rather, other actors who's connected to Star Trek. Armin Shimmerman with your episode of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, and Whoopi Goldberg in movies, and Malcolm McDowell and Carl Urban. I mean, that in itself is a great thrill, I'm sure. And just curious what your experience with, just pointing out one, Armin Shimmerman, because he's got a connection with my state, having lived a few towns away from here when he was growing up. What was, were you able to interact much with Armin, and what was that like?
In Voyager, right?
Deep Space Nine, but I also thought he was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I thought he was also in an episode of Buffy with you, but maybe I'm incorrect on that.
And in the Star Trek, isn't he an alien? So he doesn't look like himself.
Right, he's a Ferengi, big ears.
Ferengi. Okay, so I'm trying to place his real face. What I usually do is
I didn't think Quark was played much into Hippocratic Oath if he's in it at all.
No, I don't think in Deep Space it's all Jem'Hadar and the two. I don't know their names, but the regulars.
Okay, I may be mistaken. I thought you worked with him in an episode of Buffy, if that's not the case.
But then in Buffy, what did he? Was he a principal in Buffy?
He was the principal. He was kind of an ornery,
like he is always.
Yes.
Everybody's cast. I'm a bad guy. Everybody's something. Yeah. He's the principal. Yeah. I don't. But then I don't. I'd have to watch it. I don't remember. It's terrible. But then I can always say it was 30 years ago.
Yeah. I was just curious because he's in person. He's a very nice guy, and he was marooned with a good number of us back in 2003 during a blizzard at a convention, and he was making Quark snowmen outside. So it was just that's a funny experience. Yeah, we all had a blast with him because he was trapped there just along with the rest of us. So, we all made do and had a lot of fun.
Did you get to stay longer than your ticket allowed? So it was
yeah. It was like the convention never ended. It started to really snow in Maryland that Sunday morning, and states were starting to close up. So we didn't escape in time, and actually I'm glad we didn't, because we would have missed a wonderful experience if we had gotten away. But for the next, we were trapped there for several days, and we just had a blast, and so did they. I think they didn't really mind being marooned. I mean, Gil Gerard was working on the in the weight room area, trying to work off the gut. But Armin seemed like he was having a blast, and so did the others. And we just huddled around the bar TV screen to watch and see if any states were being, if the ban was being lifted and when we might actually escape. But in the meantime, I was like, well, we have no place to go. Let's just drink and have food and hang out at the pool. And, fortunately, it was a nice hotel. So
that sounds great. That's the kind of convention to go to. I met Gil because of Battleship. I met him in Alabama convention. Oh. He was the first one. I think it was one of my first ones. He came up to me and pulled me aside, and he said, "Son, you're not charging enough for your pictures. He says, we're all at 25 or on up, depending on who they are. And your 20 is going to make us look bad or whatever it is. I went, oh, I didn't know. I just picked him a number. I didn't want to cheat anyone. And I figured, well, if Gil's asking for 25, I can't be that good. So he straightened me out, and I made more. Thank you, Gil. But yeah, also was there. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Do you remember Catgirl?
Catwoman, Julie Newmar?
I'm sorry, Batgirl.
Oh, Yvonne Craig, Batgirl?
Yvonne Craig, I had my mind is going. Yvonne Craig, I had such a crush on her. She was there. She's up there. She signed a picture for me. And, of course I gushed all over. And then later on, but I think it was the last day, she came over and she put her arms around me and laid a long kiss right on the smacker, kind of turned me an incredible shade of red. I could not believe I'm smooching with the Batgirl.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Which is nice because you have when you get into big or things that mean something to you, like Batman did. Oh, and Batman. I got a story behind that. You remember ever seeing Bailey in Star Trek, the original series? Frank Gorshin played him in
Yes.
Let This Be Your Last Battlefield.
Yeah.
I want to take this off for a second. These earphones, they're weird. I gotta get a better thing to do it. He gave me. Am I getting it right?
There. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool.
Let this be your last battlefield. Star Trek, Stardate. Again, my glasses are in there, but he gave that to me because later, about 20 years ago, my mother-in-law, who's Haji, now she's been in a lot of Russ Meyer films of the 60s, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. She was in that era where women were in films shooting men in fast cars in the desert, and it was wild. The 60s, it's a film, Faster Pussycat. She went to signings a lot from it because college kids at 12 o'clock have a showing of this movie where these buxom, well, there's the poster, Faster Pussycat, Russ Meyer, in the 60s. I don't know, it's before you, but she was dating a lot of guys. She dated Johnny Carson. She's my mother-in-law. She ended up being my mother-in-law because I married her daughter. And she was dating everybody, every famous person. She's coming over. I'm dating this guy. He does impressions. And his name's Frank. And I'm like, Frank Gorshin. And Brett, are you kidding? You're dating the Riddler. She's Riddler? She didn't. I said, no, the Riddler. And, he was Bailey. And then I couldn't believe this was also, he was my idol. Along with, I loved his impressions, and I would beg my parents to let me stay up late at night. I think maybe even Jack Parr, if you remember him. But Johnny Carson, let me stay up because he does Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas. He does everybody. He just embodies them, and he's also the Riddler. And of course, they would allow me to watch him. And then, here and behold, when I grow up, he's dating my mother-in-law.
Wow!
So I've got my idol sitting in there at our back porch having bourbons, him discussing the wedding that's coming up, that he's going to marry my mother-in-law, which would make him my father-in-law. So I would have the Riddler as a father-in-law. I would have been on 3 Star Treks. It's just chills. Oh, right then.
Yeah.
Right then I got him. Yeah, up here. That is just, you think this is how your life has been. I mean, but then unfortunately he was a 5-pack a day smoker. He could go through a cigarette in one inhale. It was, and he died before they got married. And it was a big loss. He was a genius. I loved him. But
going back to Deep Space Nine, I wondered how was the experience of playing the part of Jem'Hadar in the DS9 episode Hippocratic Oath?
It's a lot of makeup.
Yeah, but look at those eyes.
Yeah.
See, those eyes say kindness. That was something a makeup person told me. I think it was during Buffy. The guy, he won an Academy Award. No, an Emmy for that. Anyway, he said, your eyes, I mean, you just, oh, it's just, look, it's amazing that he came up with that eye and the Buffy. And so, but your eyes, just so sweet. You're kind. I'm like,
Yeah.
Come on, I'll take you.
I see that. Yeah.
And I see it in that Jem'Hadar. I was going to ask you if you knew anything about that, because it was I got very ill in that costume. Yeah, I got very ill. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've seen you post about that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that
it's got to felt claustrophobic. I mean, had you ever had anything that even approached that kind of makeup before? You know.
I can't remember. I think I did I did a Hercules where I was Satan. I had wings. They had to put me in a body cast for that. So I had, I think, this one hole to breathe through. That was horrible. God. I mean, I don't like small spaces anyway. And those what do they call them? Scanners, or those things you get in the tubes? MRI.
Oh yeah, that is scary.
And besides all that clanking and hammering, shut that noise off. I could deal with it. But yeah, that was I did not care for being in those. Look, it's okay. You can breathe out of this. It's enough. No, it's not. I wanted a very big hole that I could, especially, of course, they did fix it so that I could be pulled out of it if it came to the point that I was going to have to regurgitate, or, if it got bad. And it did. And they minute me out. I was like, oh, yeah, 6 hours to get in, but you could get it off in 1 second. I have to sit through 6 hours. And so does the guy next to me, who was my stand-in. He had to do the same thing, and he never got on camera. He would have never got on camera unless I got sick. I got sick, and they couldn't put me back in it legally. So half of the stuff was in film of me, and he got to get his SAG card and finish, which I've seen. I can't tell. I can only guess where I might be, because they don't ever say our names in the movie, the TV, except they name the leader of it. But then he's like 5'6" or 8. He's not very tall, and I can tell it's Marshall's voice because he has more lines too. And I could have swore I had my lines. I wish I had the script. I didn't keep the script. That says Meso'Clan had the line on the ground that got shot. Oh, I would rather die because that's the way the Jem'Hadar do it. But I can't figure it out unless somebody can, because I still have credit. I can. You can prove I was in the thing, but I can't tell where I am in it.
That's interesting.
Okay.
I'm thinking I might be, and I hear him say it when they shoot, right before one of them shoots his own man. There's somebody who's walking behind the scene, and he says, "What's this?" And it sounds like me. I go, "Oh, that sounds like because everybody there was doing this kind of thing. They were all talking like bad guys." And it's just I've hated that from the beginning. I mean, they put on that rasp. You're whispering for a reason because you can't act. Stop it. I shouldn't say that. But I didn't want to have that voice. So when I hear that voice, I go, that sounds like me, because it sounds like something I'd say if it was just normal. Maybe that's me, and everything else they couldn't work because I couldn't finish, and he did the rest. Because I see the guy in the ground. I did notice that his hands, they're darker. And right in here, it's darker because he was an African-American guy. He was a black guy. So, but then I figure, well, probably him. They don't say his name. And I've looked up scripts on the line, but maybe I don't know how to find them, to see if I could read through the script and see where my lines were, and then attach them to the scene. And I could say, oh, there I am. Anyway.
But you
started
couldn't
out
find
what?
them even in the script.
I haven't got the script anymore, and I can't find it online.
Okay.
And when they do have it, they don't put the name of the person. The one I saw, well, that doesn't help me.
Okay. Well, I noticed recently I've got a script for the Undiscovered Country and Flashback, and noticed that you're like, you know, with the name tags that's above each line of dialogue. In the Undiscovered Country, it just says like science officer, but in the Flashback script, it says Valtane. Well, I thought it was quite interesting, where it's like gone through that evolution in the scripting.
So there's no mention of my name in this movie anywhere.
Yeah, there is in the dialogue, but even then, the name tags in the script just say science officer. Yeah.
And
so, KL Schiller asked basically if you have any memories of working together with Cole Meany and Alexander Siddig, and what they were like together, if you recall that.
None at all.
Deep Space Nine.
None at all, because the first couple that we did were, I think we were just holding guns in the very beginning. There's 6 of us in a tableau when they reach. And that's about it. I know I'm one of them, but there's no way to tell. There's no new those faces. And actually, I could even be one of the ones that are very sick. Memory is because I was mainly just sick, because they were all having a problem with that something cell, white cell, but it was a drug.
Yeah,
Ketracel white. Yeah.
Right, Ketracel white. So I was feeling that way anyway, just for that illness. So I could have easily that could have been me. He's really sick. I believe him. Those 3 days. But no, I didn't have any. A lot of the times you'll do something and there'll be 25 stars in it, but you don't get to see any of them. But I made sure sometimes I got on the set of the Sister Act, because Maggie Smith was on there. I was not going to have a scene with her, but I am going to meet her. Every star.
Cool.
But I remember Cole Meany from, what did he do? Wasn't he in something funny? He's a funny guy.
He's been in loads of stuff.
He was in, after Deep Space Nine, he was in Hell on Wheels, but he had some scenes where he was kind of amusing, but he was not necessarily a nice guy in that.
No,
that
he was
series.
not. That's true. I watched that too. Right.
When you were doing, you had mentioned earlier about, your episode of Xena, which is filmed in New Zealand. What was that like, as far as, traveling all the way to New Zealand, and how long did you have to stay there, and what was the weather like there, and the whole atmosphere on that set? Did you get a chance to meet Lucy Lawless? And well, I don't know how many scenes you had with her. It's been a while since I've seen that episode.
It's all right. Yeah. Well, it turned out to be the place that my wife and I have been wanting to move to since I did it.
Oh, wow.
Country is the best ever, and I've been to a lot of them because of working, and they're all wonderful. But this just had everything you'd want to have in a country, with the people. And
I heard it's beautiful.
Anyway, it's fantastic country, and you've got they have winter. They have rain, lots of rain. I loved it. And then, of course, I fell for her right away. It was I got this picture of holding her in outfit. I just felt that was something. And then she met the producer, Rob, and they married, and that sort of killed anything that could have ever happened in my imagination. But she was wonderful, yeah. And Renee, her sidekick, people. Kevin was the same. I haven't seen him, but I hear he's different now. That was Hercules, but he was very wonderful person, friendly, had us over for dinner. My daughter, when she came over, she was 2. The first time I went, And that was when I was in Hercules, and I had this whole red outfit, the horns, and this horrible look. I have a picture of her and me holding this 2-year-old, and we're both, looking off into the distance like, this is every day. This is daddy, and this is the daughter, and she knows. Because earlier we were shooting, we were all up. I was being hoisted up 50 feet in the air with Hercules with these wings that I'm fighting him, as the devil's Beelzebub's sidekick or something. And you could just imagine dramatic music, and then all of a sudden you hear from down below, Daddy! Daddy! So that stopped the crew and everybody into a big laugh. But she knew no matter who I was wiping out or killing, I was still Daddy. And that picture sort of proves it. I think I posted it somewhere. So no, it was, and we've tried to move back ever since. We were big. My wife has got me into a big foster and save animals, from shelters and stuff. So we've always done that. And then we found out recently that it costs like $10,000 per animal, and we have 5. We're never going to get to move unless we can come up with that 50 grand, because we're never going to leave them. And this was 20 something years ago. We haven't been able to leave. Just thinking sooner or later we might get there, but it's tough. But did I answer the question?
Yeah, that's that. Very much so, and elaborated beyond what I expected. But I'm really happy that you had such a wonderful experience. And I knew New Zealand was a very exotic and interesting country. So, but I had no idea that you would plan to move back. That's cool.
Oh, and this close, and I would have been Mr. Z. You never know.
Yeah.
So, I actually, when I was in doing a Hercules, my wife, I hadn't been able to get an audition to the Lord of the Rings, the first one. I was thinking, I'm here in New Zealand. Come on, it's in Wellington. It's in the Lower Island. But come on, my agent couldn't do it. And my wife just starts making a call. She calls this or that, and she ended up calling me back and going, I got through to the office, and they said, I told them who you were, and that you were doing an episode of Hercules, and if there's an audition chance, and they went, oh my God, of course. When can he do it? When can he, fly me down? Brought me down to Wellington. They'd sent me the script to read, and then I went, it couldn't have been in some strange old reading for lead, handsome, long-haired of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Igor, long name. Who's the lead in Lord of the Rings? The king, handsome.
Aragorn.
Yeah, what's his actor name? Anyway, it was the most handsome, famous guy in the thing, and I'm reading for this part. But it turned out I didn't know at the time it was going to end up being this famous Academy Award almost winning, gorgeous man. I went, there's no way. Couldn't you just find something else? But I ended up reading. I went and read for
Aragorn.
Jackson. Yeah, pulling up these. He was the one that fell in love with the elf that was a famous actress. He's in every one of them. Yeah. He's the lead. Yeah, except for Hobbit. I can't believe I can't remember his name. But
if you remember his name, you can post it in the chat.
I can't look it up at the moment.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let's proceed. I want to show the clip from the Undiscovered Country. Here goes.
Miss Valtane, any more data?
Yes, sir. I've confirmed the location of Praxis, but
what is it?
I cannot confirm the existence of Praxis.
I wondered, if you've known, how, that's turned into basically a meme, and how sort of popular that's been.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Since you did that
I've
scene.
noticed
Yeah.
because I'm getting back into this, internet, social media
Social
land
media.
fandom thing.
Yeah.
I had no clue about. I knew that everybody who does a Star Trek is going to be, liked because you did it, but I didn't think they would remember. But I had instances where people would come up and say that line, or they'd say, one guy, when it first came out, I was in a bar, and they brought me over. His friends saw me, and, hey, you're the guy. And they brought me over to this guy, and he said, you got to meet so-and-so, and I did. He rattled off every line, and he could have done everybody else, too. I was amazed that it was loved that much. And then I did watch it because I go, well, I'm not in it a lot, so I think if I can look over here while the show's going on, I'm fine, and then come back when I'm not on. So I did it, and I watched it, and I go, I love this. This is a good film. I really think it's great. I want to say it's one of the better ones of all of them. It's certainly in the even numbers, one of the best. Definitely better than the odd.
I wondered how your casting as Valtane basically came about. We sort of briefly spoke about it earlier in this interview. But,
the casting of it?
Did you have to read lines for your audition, or how did that go?
Usually it works that you have to read for somebody, and then you read for the casting agent, and the casting agent brings 100 down to 5 or so, or 6, and those people go to the producer. And I was lucky enough at that time, finally. It took a few years, but I got lucky enough right away to get an agent that was the most famous for guest stars. You wanted a guest star, get the best, you're going to go to Gage Group. They have it. They may not have the William Morris stars, but they'll get you a guest star that'll work, and you'll be happy. So I'd worked myself up to where I didn't have to do it for the casting director anymore, which was really good, not good. And I always went to the producer. Luckily, because it's tough when you have to keep doing it over and over, and then you don't even get to be seen by the guy who's going to say you're hired. So I'd go to the producer session. It's usually anywhere from 3 to, it could be 16 people watching, depending on how many of the writers are there. And then once you get it over with and you get out, you forget about it. That's the only way I could live it, because a lot of people just constantly talk about what happened. What did I do wrong? Or what did I do right? And you make yourself insane. So I learned early on to just do it and forget about it. And I did. A lot of the time, I'm lucky enough if they know right away it's him. I can get the call kind of on the way, but I didn't have a phone. I did finally end up getting a phone. One of these cell phones. Yeah, I don't know. You're not old to remember them, with a big antenna. And, yeah, hello?
I remember.
I didn't have one of those yet.
I remember.
I do.
But yeah, I'd get home, or I'd check them. I immediately do. Okay, you try to forget about it. You say, I'm going to forget nothing. I mention it. How'd the audition go? Yeah, it goes. But the minute you come in, you look over for that light. Is it blinking? Did my agent call? Did they already tell me I did get it? But of course, there was a big loud house the minute I got told I got it. Oh my God! Dancing, jumping. Because it was bigger than any of the others.
Cool. Bob, you had a question about Valtane's sort of survivability.
Oh, yes. Who must have had a twin brother on the ship, because of the way they had framed the chronology of the filming of, sandwiching the events of the Star Trek Voyager episode into, the events of Undiscovered Country. Your character ends up in the end of Undiscovered Country, but doesn't make it through the Voyager episode. And you don't necessarily, I guess, want to point that out to the director as like, by the way, but because you've got the gig.
Oh, yeah.
So.
It's like Mr. Meyer. It says right here where I'm going to die today. It doesn't really work, because I'm alive in the other one. Oh, well, let's just cut you out. Shut up. Go away.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't think about it then. To be bold and step up and go where no one else has gone before. Tell the director there's a boo-boo. Yeah.
So,
You didn't have the
wondered,
lexicon.
yeah, like the Star Trek
Gotta find
encyclopedia is written by Michael and Denise Akita.
That's it, I think. Oh. Yeah, he's leaving the camera. The director is going, where are you going?
Oh,
this is the first one. Yeah.
Oh,
figure out where the camera
yeah,
was.
the concordance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I never figured out the kind of stuff, even on the set, it just bugged me. Said, I'm never going to be able to direct her because I can never understand. Oh, no, when you're laying down with this girl, we'll take it this way, and then when the other one, we'll have to take it this way. And that's probably why I didn't get into electronics. Yeah, well, I'm in that. Anyway.
So did you develop friendships with like any of the cast members who were playing Excelsior bridge officers?
No, they were putzes, all of them. No, we're all in the Voyager. I'd already known. I think he would have been Chekhov's replacement in a sense, helmsman or one of the, because he has a couple of lines in it. He's Boris. Boris Krudenov or something. I can't. He's a Russian. Yeah, we stayed in touch for a while, but then you end up moving away. Or other than that, my wife was a friend of Janeway. What was her name?
Kate Mulgrew.
The captain. Kate Mulgrew. Help me out here all the time. Yeah, she had known him years earlier. They'd been to dinners a lot. She was dating Kelsey Grammer before we married, and they were friends. So she loved her, and I met the same person. Very nice person. But then again, even you don't want to, I didn't find myself when I was in shows getting too friendly right away because you're all constantly seeing the people, production assistants, shooing extras away from your chair or don't go near the talent. Don't go near the talent. Stop talking to the talent. It felt creepy, and I thought, well, that probably will work for me going to the more talented, the stars. So I didn't jump in and say, hey, Maggie Smith, how you doing? Well, there's Julia Roberts. Let's go out. I did make a joke with her on, what do we do? The Mexican we do. She's in the movie and I come in once. And the introducer said on the trailer as I was going my first day, they walked me by, oh, we might as well meet Julia. You're not in any scene with her, but so she was at the door. And, hi, this is Julia Roberts. This is Jeremy Roberts. And I shook her hand. And I said, yeah, I'm the good brother. Something I said, something like that, referring to Eric and herself. Oh, I'm the third brother you never met. And she paused a little too long. Nobody laughed. And then then everybody else laughed. I went, oh, I get it. I get it. Nobody laughs unless the star laughs. She was very sweet, though. Very sweet.
Before we went live, you shared a very interesting story with us about your time on the X-Files spinoff Millennium. And, I thought maybe you could share a little bit of it here again with us, for the audience. Lance Hendrickson.
Millennium, I broke my toe. Yeah, I broke my big right toe during the Silence of the Lamb sequence where I'm in a cage and I'm losing my mind. And I just recently remembered because I went to the doctor trying to see if we could fix it because, the toe does this instead of a straight. So, but anyway, I remember the thing about it, I don't know what made me do. Well, of course I know what I did. The landlady, I was living in a guest house in Studio City. She had a nice little place, forested area. It was amazing to get this in LA for the price. Her name was Winnie, and it was on Farmdale, and some other little things she told me. She said that Lance was the last occupant of the renting place that you're renting. I went, oh, Lance, you mean the guy I'm going up to see in Millennium? She goes, yes, he's in that show now. She, barely there. She was a little whoop, whoop. But I said, well, she's either right or not. I guess she wouldn't lie when she's, having an episode. But I get up there, and I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought I'd go with this, and I shook his hand when he went on the set. The director introduced me to the PA. Said, "This is Lance Undiscovered. Jeremy Roberts. He plays, I forget who, the serial killer." I shake his hand, and I hold it a little longer, and I say, "Farmdale, Winnie Carp. It's a fish, carp. Farmdale." I'm rattling off names that about my place I lived and the lady, and he like jacks his hand back, like, "How do you know that?" And he starts to say, "I lived in a place called on Farmdale in Studio City, and my landlady's name was Winnie Carp." He yells out to the crew and all listening to the serial killer is a psychic. He can read your minds. And I'm like, oh, this little joke. This might have gotten too big. And he do it to the director. Do it to him. Shake his hand. So shake his hand, and oh man. I see a series spinoff about a serial killer. Wow, I've seen me. And then they kind of, I'm sorry, I can't go anymore. I live in the same place you did. I know Winnie. She's my landlady. And he's like, my God. So he invited me over for dinner, became good friends, and we get high all the time now, getting stoned. Kidding. Can't say that about it. But yeah, it made us friends, at least. Because you have a hard time normally on a set. You're only there 8 days, 8 to 10. And most of the time, 90% of the time, I'm going to kill somebody or shoot some of the crew. I'm not the crew. Shoot some of the cast members and then go to prison. They catch me. Everybody lives. And they don't talk too much because I'm shy, but they don't talk to me because they thought, and I've heard them say that they pass by and they just see me. And they go, oh, he's getting into the character. Let's leave him alone. And then I'm like, I need friends. So, but then they finally get to know you. And then on the 8th day, you say goodbye and you never see them again. Well, you see them on the next show because then they're going to be working later in some other show they do. So then it's a little easier once I've worked, then you get to know, we did that together. Oh, the cameraman is, and it really, then it feels a little better. But for a while, it's tough to be the bad guy when you're not outgoing. I'm way beyond what I was when I started. Right now, you would say, you're shy. But when I was younger, I couldn't walk into a room without wanting to run out. It was like, and I talk mainly like that. Like shy people do. But, so, it was my way of making friends with everybody immediately. Of course, you can't do that in every show because, you're not psychic.
But thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Have a good time.
You were a lot of fun, Jeremy.
Great to speak with you.
Thanks for joining.
It's over, huh? That's it? Okay. Oh, there he is too. Wrong hand. There he is. There's the Riddler.
Cool.
Anyway, I missed that guy.
He was so talented.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
I'll see you again. I'm going to have to ask my wife to turn this off because I don't know how it works. Some button here, right?
Well, thanks to your viewers.
Yeah.
Thanks to your viewers.
He was a
watching.
science with the helms of many. Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is what you do. Exit stage left.
It's all like. Please leave your comments, like and subscribe to the video if you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time on the Scotch Tracker. Track you later.